Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet. I am your host, Eric.
Are you sure?
I am positive. My friend. My main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
I'm ready to go. There's a lot to discuss today.
NHL
I feel like there's a
deadline.
rant coming, too.
NHL trade deadlines. We got some Red Sox we want to talk about. We got some big news happening in Minnesota. So much to cover. We cover all of the top weekly sports stories going on in the sports world today. If you are joining us live, please chime in. Let us know. Hey, somebody's joining in live. Lot going on here. I will say this, Ron. If you're joining us live, make sure you comment. We will talk about anything other than sports and sports. Other than sports. Well, we'll talk.
Other than sports?
We're not going to talk about sports today. We're going to talk about everything else. Now, other than politics and religion, everything's on the table. So feel free to chime in with anything. I am nice and cozy, my friend, by the way. I got a nice new mini split. I'm feeling comfortable. I feel good. I'm ready to go.
I'm nice and cozy, too.
Oh, I love it. I am so excited about tonight. All right, my friend. So let us see where our leadoff story takes us. I mean, we are having some fun already tonight. Let's see what we got for you. And that would be one Mr. Russell Wilson. So Russ here is James. Thanks for joining us. I will say this, Ron. Russell Wilson is going to be released by the Denver Broncos. Believe it or not, $85 million cap hit. Is that not insane to think about? But I will say, where do you think a good landing spot will be for Russell Wilson?
Well,
I've got about 4 or 5 teams. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the poll that you posted up on Sports Unfolded on Twitter. So follow it.
Yep. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, because that was an interesting one. You had Pittsburgh, Atlanta, New England, and Vegas, I believe, right?
Las Vegas. Yeah.
And I was looking at those 4 teams, and I can see it happening in either of them. But I'm more intrigued for 2 things. First of all, I think he's going to end up in Pittsburgh, which he's going to talk to them.
It is now X, but
yeah,
I think we still call it Twitter.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody.
It's stupid. It's stupid. But I think he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. But that's not where he should go. I think that's the worst place he should go.
Okay.
They weren't that good either, and they don't have a quarterback either. And they do need one. So if he does go there, that's all fine and dandy. But they don't have a line either. They don't have a good receiver.
Well, they got Pickens. Pickens is a very good receiver. But that's it.
But
Najee Harris. Is it Najee Harris? Yes. Running back.
No,
so they've
Najee
got some
Hines you talking about? Or Harris?
Harris.
Okay, because they had Hines and he got released. So
yeah, that's in Buffalo. So I will say this though, Ron. If you think about it,
Buffalo. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So if you do think about it, right? Pittsburgh has at least a coaching staff that I think could control Russ.
Yes.
That's the only reason why this may be a good move for him, because there's been a lot of talk about his demeanor, his attitude when he came to Denver, and that's where him and Sean Payton, I think, had their differences.
Yeah. I think the best spot, to be honest with you, is Atlanta. I think that's the best spot. You
Right?
know,
A lot of talent. B. John Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London.
Yeah, and
A lot
plus
of
the
offensive talent.
competition in that division isn't really that good. We had talked about this with Bill Belichick if he was to go there. And I think for the same reasons, Russell Wilson should go there. Because if you look at it, Pittsburgh, that's a tough division. You could still end up last there. Could still end up last. And then New England, you don't have anybody to throw it to right now.
But this is where I say it makes sense for New England.
And I have them
And
second on the list.
Hear me out, though. Everybody assumes New England's going to draft a quarterback at 3.
Right.
I say draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3.
Which is what we
with
had talked
Russell
about.
Wilson, Ramondre Stevenson. If you look at when he was really successful with Seattle,
Yeah.
they had a ground pounding game with the running back, right? Marshawn Lynch, Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not saying they're the same class, but again, similar.
Yeah, but you also
Now
have
you get him a top.
if you re-sign Ezekiel, you know, I mean, is he a free agent this year?
He is.
Okay, so if you re-sign him, I'm really comfortable with that duo.
And now you give him a top-notch wide receiver, right? Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
You still have the most money to spend, where, again, now you can go out and possibly get a better offensive lineman, even though we'll talk about that later. And then if you look at, right, realistically, they have enough money to put pieces around him.
Right.
I think New England makes the most sense. And I know it sounds like I'm being a homer, but Pittsburgh is kind of in a transition.
Yeah.
I mean, they've made the playoffs or had winning
Vegas is
seasons
a
for
mess.
whatever it is now. Vegas is a complete nightmare. But again,
You
Devontae
had
Adams could be attractive.
Adams, right. That's the one thing that's what put Vegas ahead of Pittsburgh for me, is because of that. That is the wild carding thing. And they
And
just
I will
got
say,
rid
think
of
about-
Hoyer, and I'm guessing Garoppolo is following. So
They are getting rid of it.
So, you know, there's going to be a change there, and Russell Wilson could end up there as well.
Think about this, though. Vegas, the revenge factor. Like, now you play Denver twice, and right how he may view that
Yeah.
as an opportunity to stick it back to the team that.
Yeah, but then you
just
still
released
have to play Mahomes twice, and now a Charger led by Harbaugh.
Yeah. that's a
So,
good point.
I mean,
I did get-
do you really want that?
No, agreed. And we've talked about where's the easiest spot. It probably is Atlanta. But I also heard now he's meeting with the Giants.
Yeah.
He's already met with Pittsburgh, I believe. Now he's meeting with the Giants.
That's an interesting one.
Do the Giants intrigue you?
That's an interesting one because I'm like I always say, I'm not sold on Daniel Jones. I don't think he's a good
When
enough.
have you ever
Yeah,
said that?
no,
I don't remember.
I think he stinks.
Have you said that before?
I think he stinks. And I don't think that they're going to go anywhere with him as a quarterback. Now, I like some of the things that he brings to the game, but he's just not good enough. Now, whether or not Russell Wilson has anything left in the tank to be good, that still remains to be seen. But I'd feel more comfortable with him over Daniel Jones. Just saying.
I will say this, though, too. Russ, very cheap, right? Because the Broncos are paying his salary.
Yeah.
He could end up with the Giants. They keep Daniel Jones for another year to see if they can kind of get something more out of him.
Yeah.
And then, now, Russ works out. You get rid of Daniel Jones the following
Absolutely.
year, take less of a cap hit. It makes sense for the Giants. But I agree with you. I think Atlanta seems like the prime spot right now. But again, I heard very hot right now, Kirk Cousins to Atlanta.
Oof. Well,
They really, I've heard a lot about them wanting Kirk Cousins in a bad way.
Well, yeah, if, look, if you want to improve your offense, Kirk Cousins can do that. He can do that. I don't think it's necessarily been all his fault that his teams haven't, gotten to Super Bowls. I mean, he's had some pretty bad coaching staffs, some bad defense, you know. But he can improve the offense no matter where he goes. He's always done that. So it's just a matter of winning, really.
The question would be, how does this thing work out? Because now Fields as well, who was rumored for Atlanta, is that's going on the back burner. There's a lot going on with these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what's the first piece to fall. And I don't think you're going to see anything before the draft. I really don't. I think teams are going to see what happens in this draft with some of these kids, who they get before they make decisions on what they're doing.
I think there's about 5 or 6 teams that are dictating everything, and nothing is going to get done until those 5 teams sit in a room together and figure out who they want, what they are willing to give up, and what they're willing to pay. And I think it's going to be a lot to do with that kind of a thing. I think there's several teams that have to sit down together and discuss what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think, listen, the Bears in all of this, I think they put it out too early with the Fields thing. And now a lot of teams are starting to shy away from it. Whereas if you kind of held on to it closer to the draft,
yeah,
to me, it created more interest. Like, hey, what are you going to do now? Well, we'll take some talks for Fields. They've been discussing this for so long. I think it's kind of shying teams away from making that decision. Like, why are you so quick to get rid of him?
And extending on that, Eric, is if they would have waited till draft day, then teams have to make a decision in a hurry. And do I want to go after Fields, who shows a lot of promise, or do I want to draft a quarterback that you never know what you're going to get, right? Teams will have to make a decision faster, and more likely they're probably going to bite on that Fields, you know, and take a shot at it, you know, because what are you getting in the draft? Is that going to be way better than Fields? You don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like the year, you know, like when Rivers and Manning came out, right? And there was the trade and all that stuff. It wasn't like, okay, these guys are definitely going to make it in the NFL. It's not like that.
Doesn't happen too often.
No.
Doesn't happen too often. I will say this, going back to Russell Wilson real quick. 7-8 last year with the Broncos, threw for over 3,000 yards, 66.4% completion percentage, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, so overall, not a bad season.
No.
And you think about Denver, they got rid of a lot of talent last year in trades and trying to pick up some picks. So I could see Russell Wilson being successful with another team if it's all the pieces are there for him. Right? And that's what you say when you started talking about New England. Like, unless they're going to get guys, then no. Maybe Atlanta because they've got some pieces. Pittsburgh, I don't think so. And then Vegas has some intriguing pieces. But again, what's going to happen with all of that as well? So you're going, your best bet, you think Atlanta.
I'm saying Atlanta, but Kirk Cousins going there would certainly change that. But I think he's going to go to Pittsburgh because I think they want him, and I think that's the thing.
They're the first team that reached out. Yeah, they're the first team that reached out. The first team that seemed to say, "Hey, look, we want to bring Russ aboard." So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We'll watch this story. Obviously, we'll continue to cover this Russell Wilson story, especially when he signs, and give you our thoughts once it happens. But we're going to talk about another team here in the NFL, Ron.
Go, Kenny.
That's
Here we go, Kenny.
Bills. Kenny is bad. Yeah, Kenny's always on your side. You know what? Hater, Kenny. It's all right, though. I'm not bitter at all. Let's bring up that Josh Allen here because he may be in some trouble. Question here, Ron, is so they've made some key cuts this week to get under the cap. They were about $40 million over the cap, which, believe it or not, if you think about the cap went up. A lot of teams gained money. The Buffalo Bills were still over the cap.
Yeah.
Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Mitch Morse, all captains, contributors to this team for the last 7 years. Plus, if you think about it, is that window for the Buffalo Bills closed?
Well, the problem is it tends to close in a hurry if you're not doing the right things. They really squandered some years, and it's interesting because I think as long as you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, you got a shot. But when you're decimated by injuries and you have a couple of guys that come in and they don't really live up to what the expectations are. And I'll tell you right off the top, their running back situation has been horrible. And when you make
Cook, though, but not bad last year.
Not bad, but
Cook,
not good
bad
enough.
last year.
It's not good enough. They need to have it more
and the
balanced.
Kickers, they don't have money, right? Like, think about it. Saquon Barkley on Buffalo.
Oh, my God.
Whew, would that be, right? Can't afford it. I will say this, Ron. We're talking about a window. Is it closed? Has it really ever opened? I'm playing a little psychological game here with you right now because you see where I'm going is, I don't know if the window's closed because I don't think the window was ever open. I felt like they always stumbled to get
well,
right.
That's
if
history,
you look at
right?
it, they've had the talent.
Yeah.
They've had the talent. They've had some of the best defensive players, a top 5 quarterback in the league, right? You have one of the best wide receivers, and yet somehow, some way, you find ways to lose. You lose to a Joe Burrow. You lose to Patrick Mahomes, right? You're losing to the top of the echelon of the NFL, but you've never been there to say, hey, at least they got to the Super Bowl. They know how to get there. At least you could say, hey, that window's still open. I don't think they even know how to win enough to get to the championship. That I don't think they ever really had a window to begin with. A lot of people are talking about the windows closing. Was it ever open?
Yeah, I think it's open. Like I said, when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, you always have a shot, right? So the window is there. Now, because the window is there, you have a shot. They have a window, is what I'm saying. But whether they have it open a crack or all the way open is a different story. This team just doesn't do enough to get over the top. They have to figure out a way to get through Kansas City. They have to find a way to get through, like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow comes back next year. To me, that puts Buffalo at number 3 automatically.
Well, Chakra, thanks for the subscribe. We appreciate your support. Number 3. What about Lamar Jackson?
Right, and that lies another one.
The talent and the team they have and the defense they have, right? So now you're looking at 4.
But what I'm saying here,
Las Vegas, Los Angeles,
Baltimore is in the same boat as Buffalo.
Agreed. But that's what I'm saying.
They're fighting over the window.
I think their window's more open than it is. And again, they're talking Derrick Henry.
Right.
So imagine now all of a sudden Buffalo, your window, forget the window. You're not even sitting on the porch. You're somewhere in the middle of the house. The window's on. You can't even see them.
Yeah, well, a lot is going to be dictated this season, and they let go a lot of players already.
8 players, Kenny just said, right? They cut 8 players, and some of these guys are captains, guys they drafted.
Poyer's a good player.
Poyer's a very good player, and they're saying Micah Hyde's probably going to retire, right? So you think about that whole backfield. That defensive backs, I mean, are tough to come by. Where even if you draft well, some guys it takes some time before they're accomplished. I am saying this: how you let yourself get that far over the cap when the NFL cap went way up, that it kind of baffles me. And then on top of it, you got to look at this Stephon Diggs thing too, because there's still talk about them getting rid of Diggs.
Well, look, you're over the cap, and you had Von Miller rework his contract. And they're still over.
How bad of a contract was that, though, too? Like, that's a contract that never panned out. They thought that was going to be the move that gets them over the top.
And he did not perform in the playoffs. Sorry.
And they got to get it. Listen, they either got to widen the goalpost in Buffalo so that their kicks don't go wide, right? I'm sorry, but I got to. What were the odds, dude? How many times can it happen?
And I'm going to set a record straight here right now. Remember that?
I can't wait.
Remember that pick and roll, or was it a starting five? Whatever it was, pick and roll. When you had Vinatieri at number 4, and I had him ahead of Bruce Smith.
Yep.
By doing my research with Buffalo this week, I went back and I actually took a look at that. As good as Bruce Smith was, he couldn't get it done. And you are absolutely right that Vinatieri should have been ahead of him. Absolutely right.
Thank you.
Because we saw in the playoffs this year with these kickers that couldn't kick anything, but yet you see Kansas City's kicker, who's the new Vinatieri. Period. Period. Because you playing close, tight games in the playoffs, you need a guy that can get it done. And Vinatieri got it done twice.
It matters.
Twice.
It
does matter.
Kickers matter.
And I give you credit for that one.
Thank you. Hey, great discussion. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, let us know. If you're watching us afterwards, check us out live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We'd love to know what the Buffalo Bill fans out there think.
Maybe they'll cut Josh Allen and Patriots will sign him.
I doubt the Patriots. Listen,
I would love that.
Listen, don't get me started with the Pats. It's in my final thoughts. Don't get me started because I could rant for the next 35 minutes on just the Patriots.
Yeah,
alone.
who's that guy that they
Ron,
signed?
We are gonna. I wrote it down. I got it. Listen, it is time for starting 5.
We got a bunch of people watching today, Eric. Now if they just put some
fans out there
comments.
know. Let's get some comments going.
Let's get those comments, guys and ladies.
All right, starting 5 this week, Ron. Athletes named Jake or Jacob. And I will say this, not a lot to choose from. I was a little disappointed in this.
Well,
I got my 5 and I got some honorable mentions, but I mean it was
good.
Mind-blowing.
It was good players, not great.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of guys.
And you would think Jake
worked.
Would be a good one.
So, all right, Jake or Jacob. I am going to start with my honorable mentions. Jake Paul.
Yeah,
That's
Jake
why
Paul.
it came up, buddy. That's why it came up, James, because we were like, oh, this big Jake Paul thing with Mike Tyson, which I will talk about later in the show. But I will say this.
Tyson knocks his
like,
block
Jake,
off.
Right? I can't wait. All right, so honorable mentions. Ron, Jake Long, offensive lineman, started 99 games, 4 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. Jake Matthews, another offensive lineman, 162 games started, 1 Pro Bowl. Jake Arrieta. There was a point where Jake Arrieta was just nasty.
Yeah, like 2 seasons.
115 wins, 93 losses. I mean, he won a Cy Young and a championship. Yeah. Jacob Green, 115 and a half sacks, 2 Pro Bowls. And then Jacob DeGrom. Again, if he had more body of work, but his numbers are ridiculous if he could have stayed healthy. 84 and 57, 253 ERA. That is amazing. 2 Cy Youngs, 4 All-Stars, an ERA champ, and a Rookie of the Year. That's who I had for honorable mention.
Yeah, I have Jake Long in there as well. The other guys, different. I have
Tyson fighting, right? How do you not get excited about Mike Tyson being back in the ring?
And
I agree with you, Tucker.
Okay.
I am the same way.
No, Jake Higgs. He's not that good.
Canadian curler.
No, and I
James
looked at
always
him.
pulls out these
I
guys.
looked at him, and he is not good enough to be on the list. He's not an honorable mention at all.
Wow.
Not good enough.
Wow.
He doesn't get it done. Doesn't get it done.
Doesn't get it done. Chakra's fired up about boxing again, right? And hopefully this is a good match because he fought Roy
Where's he
Jones.
fighting
They kind of
him?
just danced. In Dallas, Cowboy Stadium. They said that's the only time they're going to let him wear cowboy trunks. That way the Cowboys win something. No, I'm just... Wow! That's a shot at the Cowboy fans out there, and I know there's one big one out there right now.
Yeah, so...
I
All
will
right,
say,
so
though,
I also
all
have
right.
Jake...
So at number 5.
Wait, I didn't even... I
still
gave
got
you
on the
one.
go. I didn't know, bro. Oh, I didn't know if you had more. Go ahead.
Jake Peavy on my honorable mentions. Pretty good pitcher, you know?
He actually made my...
Yeah, because there was a debate
There's
for
not a
me within two of those guys.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
you know, it just wasn't enough for me.
I had to reach deep, Ron. For this
Yeah, we did.
5.
And we reached.
Deep.
Also,
Another...
Jake Reed. Remember Jake Reed from Minnesota?
Yeah, the right like his numbers.
I didn't, but I liked him, so I
Yeah.
put him in my honorable
Oh,
mention.
come on. Now, is that what we're doing now? Honorable people we like?
Yeah. I mean, they were okay numbers. They weren't wow,
Garbage.
but
They're
they were
garbage.
okay.
They stink.
I also have Jacob Trouba from, now, the current defenseman in the NHL. Jacob Trouba, I think it's the more the leadership and the hard hits that he
What are we
gives. I
doing
love that.
now, Ron?
No, what? He has
What happened to
73 goals.
stats?
Listen,
Stats, bro.
yes, I'm giving the stats.
go
73
ahead.
goals, 236 assists, for 309 points. No,
Can't, James.
something like that.
He
Yeah,
stinks.
so he
He's
had
calling right now.
739 games.
Take my Christmas card, because he's calling you right now. Thanks for the shot, Eric. I mean, come on, that was good. Jake Ballinger.
But he's a
Broom
plus
ball.
61 for his career. He's a defenseman, so he's got some offensive prowess. And that's my honorable mentions.
All right, garbage, as usual.
It's not garbage.
What-
Your list
do
that
you-
you gave us is garbage.
Do you have Jake Ballinger, broom player, honorable mention? Know what a broom
What the hell is a broom player?
ball? Broom ball. I don't know.
Oh, come on. Come on.
James will find them. If they're out there, James is going to find them. They exist. All right, so at number 5.
What is he, Santa?
At number 5.
He does exist.
He does. Oh, easy, Eminem. All right, let's go with number 5, Jake LaMotta. 83, 19, and 4, 30 knockouts. He was a champion. Think about the Raging Bull, the movie based off
Yes.
of him. So I put him at number 5.
I don't know how you have him so low.
I didn't like his numbers, and he only had one chance. He only won one belt.
Yeah, but he held it for 2 years.
One belt. Come on. I got a belt on right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like hockey. All right, up your alley. Look into it, Ron. He's
Oh, I
telling you.
know. I know.
Maybe for sweeps
Broom
week.
ball.
For sweeps week. Well,
Oh.
hey, you remember back in the day, sweeps? All right, who do you got at 5 then? Go ahead.
Number 5, I have Jacob DeGrom. It was on the bubble with him and Jake Peavy. I couldn't decide, and I'm like, look,
DeGrom's numbers are nice. 84
Yeah.
wins, though. Like 84.
I know he needs to have a healthy season.
Yeah, which has never happened.
But when it's all said and done, if this guy can stay healthy for the rest of his career, which is not going to happen, by
If.
the way, if he will be the best Jacob.
Okay. All right, so at 4, Jake Beckley. He was a baseball player from 1888 to 1907. Dude batted 308, 2,938 hits, Ron. Almost 3,000 hits. 1,603 runs, 1,581 RBIs.
That's a
Those are
good
some
one.
phenomenal numbers.
That's a good one. I forgot about him.
That's phenomenal numbers.
That is good. I would have him at number 5.
See? Okay. Jake Beckley.
Number 4, I have Jake Gensel. Now a Carolina Hurricane, and he's so talented. He's at a point a game pace today. This season, and when you look at his numbers, those numbers are nice. As soon as I find them.
Games that baseball players back then played every game. You're very true.
Yeah, exactly. So Gensel has 219 goals, 247 assists, 466 points in 503 games, so almost a point a game. Plus 53, 31 game winners, and he also has a Stanley Cup. And he was clearly better than the rest of the guys that were on the list for Jakes and Jacobs.
All right. At 3, I have Jake Dalbert. Again, 1910 to 1924 baseball player, batted .303, 2,326 hits. He won an MVP, 2 batting titles, and a World Series championship. I love these guys back in the day. They all batted over 300.
Yeah.
I would take them any day of the week. Like nowadays.
It's because they hit it off a tee.
You get a guy batting 240 now. It's like, oh, what a great baseball player he is. 240.
No.
These guys are batting 300.
Yeah.
Give me that Jake. Jake Dalbert.
Yeah. I have Jake Scott. Defensive back.
Yep.
49 interceptions, 13 fumble recoveries, 5 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pro, 2 Super Bowls, and a Super Bowl MVP. Jake Scott. They should have named him. They should have had him as a nickname. Great.
Great Scott. Great Scott. So at 2, I had Jake Peavy. And again, his ERA 3.63. But again, 2,207 strikeouts. He won a Cy Young. He won a Triple Crown. 3-time All-Star. He won a Gold Glove. 2 ERAs and 2 championships. I went Jake Peavy.
It's not bad. It's pretty good numbers.
I didn't like his ERA.
It's just that's what hurt. That's what hurt.
Grom's ERA was so much better, but a whole run better. But
that's what hurt my decision with Jake Peavy. That ERA was a little up there.
I question it, but the 2 championships, 2 ERAs, I thought were put him ahead. But what do you got at 2?
Number 2? Jake LaMotta. I have Jake LaMotta. He's the Raging Bull.
Yeah, right. The Raging Bull. De Niro.
I mean, when you look at 83, 19, and 4. Yes, I know the 19 is there. But that was late in his career, and most of those losses were all after
I don't know if I like the 30 Ks, too. 30 knockouts. Like, to me, I would have liked to see, like if you half of them at least, like if you were in the 40s, I'd be like, hey, half the
He was a brawler, and he would get just as much punishment dealt to him as he would dish out.
Agreed. There was some
and, of those it's a different age of boxing. Yeah. They actually fought back then.
All right, easy. All right. So at 1 for me, I had Jake Scott. 49 interceptions. You said 5 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros, 2 championships, 1 Super Bowl MVP. Ron, you know what team he was on? The only team in NFL history to go undefeated, the 1972 Dolphins. Guess what? He was one of their best players, and the reason why they were undefeated. I went Jake Scott, as we call him, Great Scott.
Yes. That's why I said that.
Yeah, I love it.
He was a great player. Great but I got one that's going to blow your mind.
Oh, boy. Here we go. What do you got? It's going to be some, like, sewing champion from
Jacob Ingebrigtsen.
I can't. You don't even know what that is.
Ingebrigtsen.
I lost my pen in this.
He's a middle and long distance runner. I'm sure James knows who he is. I'm sure he does. He's a middle and long distance runner. Okay, so to sum up his numbers, he's got 25 career golds, 7 silver, and 2 bronze. Okay, so you break him down. He's got a gold in the 1,500 meter 2020 Olympics. He's got a gold in the 5,000 meter 2022 Olympics,
Don't
a
encourage
silver in
him,
the
James.
1500 Olympics, a 1500 meter 2022 Olympics, and then he has a gold and a silver in the 2023 World Finals. He's 22 golds in just the Norwegian Nationals.
Kenny's got Jake Lehman, center for the Timberwolves.
I saw that.
The numbers weren't there. There wasn't a
Yeah.
lot of good Jakes for basketball.
No, there was
Wasn't
not.
a lot of good Jakes. That was a
So,
we tried.
and he is also, Eric,
you
he's
got more,
also
you got more.
Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen.
From
He is
Norwood,
also
Mass.
the 2023 number one ranked 5,000 meter runner.
Oh, thank you for the sharing. That's awesome. I will say this: Jake Lehman from Norwood, Mass. Look at that, local New
Yep.
Englander. All right, that was our starting five. What do you think about what are we on out there? Anybody got any suggestions for next week?
Oh, come on, Eric. Can we do it? Body parts?
No, we're not doing body parts. 'Cause I
Come
don't trust you.
on. You
there's-
got
well,
so
all right.
many good ones.
There's certain body parts that would be out though, that are not allowed.
I agree with that.
It's a lot of work. Oh well, I'm not on the show next week, so you guys can do whatever you want.
So who's on in place of you?
I don't know. We're gonna have to discuss that. Maybe we get maybe we get the big dog, or we get James to join you next week.
Well, maybe they both can.
Yeah, why not? It takes two people to replace me. I got you. It makes sense. All right, let's talk some NBA, my friend. Big news coming out of the association.
Wait, we gotta adjust the screen because your head's so large.
Hey, the kid from Toronto. I don't even know what are you still talking. Kenny's still talking about something. The kid from Toronto. He doesn't even know the kids.
So what are we,
I'm
NBA?
obscure sports athletes. Make sure you do that, Ron. All right. So if we weren't past 7, Ron, are you taking the medicine while you're on?
Yeah, I try to take my medicine on time.
Okay. I just want to make sure. All right. Is it going to make you sleepy? Because you're already a little delusional today. Top
No,
five-
well mixed with the drink, it does fine.
Oh, yeah, I bet you.
Does fine.
Top 5 obscure sports athletes. I don't know. You guys figure it out. You guys are doing your show next week.
Obscure athletes, what does that mean?
I will be flying back from Las Vegas. So we are going to talk about the association. Karl Anthony Towns, big injury here, knee injury, meniscus. Not quite sure if he needs surgery, maybe like a rest and see if he can play. How significant is this for the Timberwolves in their playoff push?
Well, it's huge, especially with what, like 20 games left? You got 20 games left. The chances of him coming back, even if he doesn't have surgery, is slim.
Yeah, and how
It's
productive
slim.
will he be, right? How productive? Listen, he's second on the team in points and rebounds, 22.1 points and 8.4 rebounds per game he's averaging this season. And as great as Naz Reid has been for them as the backup, and he's playing well, you lose size, right? So Towns 7 feet 248, Reid 6'9". You know, so you're losing that size, and now with Rudy Gobert, how big of an impact is Rudy Gobert going to have to step up? Because now you're not looking just defensively, you're looking offensively at what Rudy Gobert needs to do for this team.
Right. And I don't know if he's up to that task. They're going to be hurting. But there is a silver lining in all of this. They're in first place right now.
Yeah, for how long? They're a game ahead of they're tied with OKC and a game ahead of Denver.
Now,
who just smacked the
look,
Celtics.
they could slip all the way to number 6 or 7. They could. I don't see them going beyond 7. You know, I think they're gonna stay in that top 6, but then you have just a tougher road. It's going to be a tough road no matter what you get.
If he doesn't come back. I will say this, though. They've talked about the floor got smaller. Absolutely, Kenny, right? Like, that's such a big piece. Think about this, though. Anthony Edwards, everybody talks about he's the next face of the NBA or the next star. How big does he have to step up? I don't know if you saw the block last night, Ron. I suggest you watch this video because I've never seen a guy hit his head on the rim and pin the ball on the backboard at the same time. It was absolutely insane, the block Anthony Edwards did to save the game last night.
Great player.
So he needs to be the guy now. He has to be that, and I know Kenny's not going to like, but that Michael Jordan-esque type player. Take over the games.
What does he have against Michael?
He doesn't like Michael. I don't know why. I don't get it.
How?
I don't know. And he's a basketball guy. You would think he would respect greatness, but no.
Yes.
But I will say this, right? You think about
Well, he does like golf, so.
Oh, good call. Nasty. It was nasty. Although it was nasty. Nasty. He's doing his Mike Tyson impression. Kenny already got it. He was nasty. Nasty. I will say,
great,
dude, the block.
Great. The one guy you don't want to piss off, right?
Mike, come on down. Come on down. We'll fight you, Mike. We'll fight you.
We know you.
I'm taking a dive anyway, bro. They just ring ding. I'm dropping. I'm not even letting them ring it. But I will say, if he can take that energy now and say, look, I've got to be the number one guy. I have to be the alpha and take over games. If he can do that, I think that bodes well for the Timberwolves, because now you get a guy that has that Mamba mentality like Kobe, right? The Michael Jordans, where they just
and that's what I'm saying, Eric. It's the regular season, right? So he can do that. He can do that. I have complete faith that Anthony Edwards can get it done, especially in an emergency. You know, it's like an emergency room doctor.
Let it go. Nobody knows who Anthony Edwards is anymore.
Some people do.
It was in the 90s. Nobody remembers it.
Anyway, but he can get it done in the regular season without Towns there. But once that playoff starts, it gets tighter. And you don't have the room like the regular season. Like, they have a couple of games coming up against Utah. I think he's going to be fine against Utah.
Yeah, I think that the key is, though, right, what's the matchup look like in the playoffs, right? Will size matter then? So that's where you start to look at it, right?
Yeah.
And if they can get some matchups that are favorable. But again, to your point, how far do they drop? Because now if you're looking at a 4 seed, 4 or 5 is usually a tough seed.
Yeah, and think about this. If you drop to 7th, say you drop to 7th.
It's a play-in game.
Right. And right now, those 7, 8, 9, and 10 are Sacramento, Dallas, Golden State, and the Lakers. You want to play one of them guys? Because anything can happen.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if you're the 7th and you have to play LeBron James first, good luck to you. Because LeBron James has a habit of carrying for a game.
Yeah. Listen, a one-game series, absolutely. Who lead them? Anthony Edwards? Is that the question, Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny, it's like I said, in the regular season you can do it. Because it's not the same intensity.
He's been, yeah, okay. Yeah, so I would say this too, Kenny, though. Think about it. He's been on this team now for, 5-6 years? Like, we've seen him grow and mature. The next level is this. Like, when the adversity, how he deals with it, how he handles. Listen, I was so impressed with that block. That shows to me he's willing to risk it all. Because, I mean, he could have seriously gotten hurt off of that afterwards. And it's like, holy cow, right? Like, if he's going to play with that intensity and make those kind of plays for his team, he may be able to elevate everybody else's play around him as well. Because now they're looking at, if this is our best guy and he's going to go all out, I have to ball out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think he could lead them. I do.
I think he can. I think he's an exceptional player, and we're gonna really find out what it's like for him to just take over. And this could actually win him MVP.
It could. I'm going SGA. I talked to Kenny the other day. I think SGA is getting this thing, man. That kid's just incredible right now.
I'm just saying.
But you could be right. You could be right. You could be right, my friend.
I could be right.
All right. Some great NBA talk, but we're going to move on to to Major League Baseball, and we're going to talk about your guy. I mean, let's look at
please, don't even call him my guy.
How good does Lucas Giolito look in that Red Sox uniform? Too bad you won't see him pitching in it this season. UCL tear.
Is he wearing Chris Sale's jersey?
I think he may be. Is that the same number?
I don't know. What number is he?
I don't even know. So looks like he's out for the season. Do the Sox make any additional moves based off of what just happened?
Based on what I've seen from the Red Sox, no.
Brayan Bello just signed 6 years, $55 million. They made a move.
Great.
They made a deal.
Yeah, with somebody they already have. Okay. So now
he's your number one. He's your ace now.
You've been milking this Jordan Montgomery talks for the whole winter. Oh, we're gonna go after him. Yeah, bull. He's gonna end up back in Texas because right now he's sick of waiting for the Red Sox to put the offer out there. Okay? Finally, show up. Breslow is nothing but a puppet for this team. A puppet. They don't want to spend the money. They're not going to get a pitcher. This is it. They want to show, we got Bello. Yeah. We signed him up for 6 more years. 6 more years of what? 500 baseball?
I mean, he was 12 and 11 last year. 4.2.
Woohoo! 500. Yay!
4.24 ERA. I mean, so
4.24, right?
24 years old. So, again, you secure that. I think, to your point, I would have been on the phone right away saying Snell or Montgomery and saying, listen, what do you want?
See, here's the thing, right? You had Giolito, and you were trying to work out some sort of a deal for Montgomery, right? Well, now you don't have Giolito. Now you need 2 guys. Now you should be on the phone saying, hey, we're going to lock both of them up. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to sign either one of them. They're going to sign Rich Hill, the guy that's like 50 million years old.
I will say this in all seriousness, Ron, and I know you're upset, but I will ask you this. Do you think they're deliberately tanking?
Yes.
Because if you look at this move, right, even with the Giolito thing, it wasn't a lock that he was going to be your ace. And they had him scheduled to be your number one. And it was like a 2-year, $38 million deal. So it wasn't like big money. It wasn't long-term. It was sort of like a quick fix.
He came off a year where his ERA was like, what, 7?
Yeah. Dude, after the trade, he was horrible. They made the trade, and he was worse. And so you sit back and go, okay, now what does this say to the fans? If you're a Red Sox fan, do you not sit back and go, wait a minute, I don't understand what we're doing. What direction are we headed now?
They're not heading in any direction. This is the problem. And it all goes back to they want to invest in golf now. So everything they got is being invested into golf. Yay.
And I will say, I'm gonna actually give you credit, John. You were right, and I was wrong. The Rafael Devers thing, where I said he should have just kept his mouth shut and played right. He signed the contract, but if you think about it, he wants to win.
Yeah.
And this organization is not building a team to allow them to do that.
Yeah.
And I maybe he doesn't want to waste the next 10 years of his life.
And they probably didn't say the whole truth of what they were going to be doing in Boston.
And nothing but the truth. You know what? Maybe
he probably said they're going to go after, such and such, like they told everybody. Oh, we're going to go all out in the off season. Breslow says this, right? All out. This is all out? Yeah, all out. All the players are going out.
Full throttle without gas. I think that's where they went.
It's ridiculous.
No, I agree with you. Listen, do you think they make a move?
I don't. They're going to sign Rich Hill. You watch. Mark my words. Mark my words. That's the guy that they're going to hope and pray that he can throw it over the plate without it going yard.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
At what, 44, 45 years old?
Red Sox fans, if you're out there, let us know what you think the Red Sox and the direction they're going in. We'd love to hear from you. send it in our
South.
comments.
They're going south.
All right, my friend.
That's the answer right there. They're
Spring
going
training right now,
south.
they are. I mean, they're in
Wait,
Fort Myers.
they're going to be battling with Oakland A's for the bottom.
Did you see the A Stadium? The drawings for it?
No.
Bro, it looks so good. It looks like Australia, though. You know the Australian Opera House? It's similar to that, but they got like a glass so you could see the whole city of Vegas. It looks so nice.
Nice.
So cool. All right, my friend.
And they're going to have money to spend, too.
Yeah. It is time for split decisions. I was getting a little funky. I feel like we should do like get the feather scarves and everything when that beat comes on and do a whole thing. So it is time for split decisions. Our split decision segment is basically we give each other two more likely questions. If you'd like to sponsor this section, get your name right above me right here. Ron will let you know later on in the show how you can do that and get your business to have thousands of eyes on you. And we got some big announcements coming up shortly, so we will talk about that at the end of the show as well. But Ron, I am first with our split decision, so I will start us off with Ron. Which team is more likely to get the last NHL Eastern Conference wildcard spot? Right now, Detroit and Tampa Bay hold it with 72 points. The New York Islanders, 68. Washington Capitals, 65. Pittsburgh Penguins, 64. Or the New Jersey Devils, 64 points. Which team is more likely to get the last two wildcard spots?
That's interesting.
And now you're basing it off of the trade.
When
right?
you think, because New Jersey just redid their whole goaltending situation.
Yeah.
They got, Capo Kakinen and Jake Allen. But that's not enough. It's not enough. That's not going to get it done.
Down.
I like Detroit and Tampa Bay in that.
To hold it. So you don't think any of the other teams, Islanders, Capitals, Penguins, or Devils, will get
the only one that has a shot, I think, is the Islanders.
Okay. Who didn't make any
shot.
moves either.
No, and that's why I just think it's going to stay. The 8 is the 8.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What do you got for me?
All right. So my first one. See, we just ended baseball segment. Blake Snell still has yet to sign.
Okay.
Is it more likely he will go to San Francisco Giants, the Los Angeles Angels, the Seattle Mariners, or Boston Red Sox?
I think Boston's out because I think he's a West Coast guy. I think he's pretty much pitched more of his career on the West Coast. Seattle intrigues me because I think they've got a lot of good talent there, so he could win now if that's what he's really looking for. I think the Angels are out. So I would go between the Giants and Seattle, and I feel like the Giants still wanted to make a move or a splash that it would be the San Francisco Giants. Because I feel like they really wanted to, the Ohtani thing, and they were talking about it. So Snell would be a really good signing for them.
Yeah, okay.
So I would go San Francisco. That's a good
Very
question.
good.
I like that
Very
one.
good.
That was pretty good. All right, Ron, my second split decision. Which team is more likely to finish as a champion this year? The Boston Celtics, the Florida Panthers, or the Los Angeles Dodgers?
I'm going to say the Florida Panthers.
That's got to sting.
That hurts.
That hurts.
Because just the talk about the Celtics the last couple of games is disturbing. It is disturbing. And I don't think they're going to get it done because I don't think they can beat Denver.
Yeah, big game Tatum. Big game Tatum. No, I could see that too. Listen, I think
Florida
the Dodgers.
Panthers.
I think the Dodgers are the hype, but we've seen it in the past, and then they don't make it, right?
They choke every year. So.
Yeah, so I could see it. The Panthers look good, and they made a big trade, which we will talk about in the next segment.
Good.
All right,
look good.
All right. After last night, Dodgers. Oh, Kenny's going hashtag pissed. The Dodgers, though. The Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
That's his accent.
The Doggers. The Doggers.
Arf, arf. All right. What do you got?
Quote from the big dog himself.
The big dog. The big dog. Hashtag pissed.
And it's not even a proper hashtag.
Yeah,
you left Kenny, a space there.
Listen. We let Kenny just he rolls along with it. Johnny Walker and him are like really good friends. So we just let him.
Yeah, I like Jim too.
Yeah, Jim, Mr. Bean.
Jim's a good one.
I mean, you can't go wrong with a good Mr. Bean. All right.
Yeah. Chris Jones, Kansas City Chiefs defensive tackle that is godlike in the playoffs, especially.
Oh, in the playoffs for sure. I mean, he's a very good defensive tackle.
Yeah. He is a free agent. Did you know that, Eric?
He is.
Is he more likely to sign with Kansas City, to re-sign with them?
Yep.
Or a divisional rival, or a team that made the playoffs this past season?
100% Kansas City. All talk is they're going to sign him. They franchise Snead in an attempt to see if he gets a deal, they let him walk. But they're going to sign Chris Jones. And I think it's his biggest asset to them was in the Super Bowl when he made the play to basically help them win, their third championship. That I can't see them.
Yeah, you don't mess around with that.
Yeah.
But he could get a lot of money out there.
Yeah, I just don't think
if I was a division rival, especially, I'd be like, okay, we need to get him because that will hurt Kansas City.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't think Kansas City's going to.
That's why I did the question like this.
He's too. If you think about Mahomes as the best quarterback, he's probably the best defensive lineman.
Yeah.
In the league right now, they're going to want to keep him.
Yeah.
It's too important because you can't replace him.
No.
All right. We got some hockey talk, Ron. Some NHL. Trade deadline ended at 3 p.m. today.
Yep.
We're going to talk about winners and losers. So who are some of your winners, your losers?
I'm going to go and make sure that nothing late came through. Maybe. Or not. Here we go. Let me see just is anything else coming across my messages. Nope, that is it. So, so before the show, there's a couple that came in late, and I took that in account as well.
Okay. All right.
So,
how do you want to do this? Because I got like 4 winners and I got 3 losers.
So let's do the losers first.
We start with the losers. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. So I am going to start with Winnipeg. And I like that they got Toffoli. But I feel like a lot of other West teams, especially Vegas, Colorado, did a lot to get better. And I feel that's going to hurt Winnipeg because I feel like they needed to do more to stay even with those teams. So that's why I went Winnipeg as a loser. Not that I don't like the trade. I don't like the fact that they didn't get better versus some of the other teams in the West.
Okay.
Am I going some more?
Yeah, you're going to do your losers.
Oh, okay. I went the Rangers. Alex Wenberg, sorry. Again, but just not enough to move the needle. They didn't add enough pieces. And again, salary caps and all that, I didn't factor that in. You're much smarter than me when it comes to that piece. So they might not have had the money to do something. But I felt like, again, here's a team that could or should have done more and didn't. Especially with some of the teams in the West or the East that did make some moves as well with Florida and Carolina. And then I know you're not going to like this, but I didn't like the Boston move. I didn't like the fact you traded for Peak, Zaboral. You get rid of about the same kind of player. I mean, and Zaboral has more assists, 15 assists versus 7. Peak's a -2. Zaboral's flat, for the season on the plus-minus line. So I thought that was big. And then Pat Maroon, I agree. I like the player. I think what that does is we've said they've struggled with the overtime. He's a guy with experience, has won some championships, but I believe he's out right now as well. So again, thinking about where you are, you're already in second place in the East. You need guys that are going to help you now to maybe take back over the first and get home ice throughout the playoffs. So I don't know if this move helped Boston. Those were my 3 losers.
All right. So I did not have Boston as a winner or a loser.
Yeah, I think it was more of I was looking at it from this standpoint, Ron.
Yeah.
They're in second.
Yeah.
So it's not like, hey, you're in the middle of the ground, so it really doesn't matter. They honestly they were only 2 points out, I think, of first place.
Yeah.
And they had first for the majority of the season. So why not make a move that could hopefully?
Yeah, I think the way they looked at it, they needed a center, and that's I think was glaring. Look, since Patra and Beecher, the 2 rookies, were out, they have not been the same team. And I'm not saying it's because of Patra and Beecher, but I will say this: Beecher was good on the faceoffs. And they didn't make mistakes that hurt the Bruins like they're making now.
Yeah.
So with 2 guys that you had fill in those center slots, they've shuffled the lines around. So you have like Frederick and Geeky and a couple other players filling in at center. But that's what they're doing. They're filling in at center. And then you move Geeky up to the first line with Pasternak, and that has actually made Geeky better, of course, because you're playing alongside of Pasternak. So they needed the muscle. They needed, because they lost last year because Florida went in there and beat them up, basically. They bullied Boston. Pat Maroon being there, they're not going to get bullied.
Agreed.
Because now guys like Frederick have some help. So I didn't put them as a loser, but I didn't put them as a winner either because they didn't get a center.
I got you.
And they needed one.
All right. So what do you got for your losers?
So losers, I have the Rangers as well.
Okay.
I also have the LA Kings that did absolutely nothing. They did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a team that needed to do something, but they're so up against the cap, they couldn't really do anything. Which probably fits what the Bruins were like.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I also have Toronto and Edmonton as losers.
Really?
And not because Toronto picked up some good players. They got Joel Edmondson, defense.
Yep.
Great. That's great. But the position you needed to go after is goaltender. Same thing with Edmonton. Yeah, you got Adam Henrique, great player.
Mm-hmm.
Troy Stetcher, another good defenseman, right?
Yep.
That is all fine and dandy, but you needed a goaltender.
Yeah,
Basically,
they went
Edmonton is Toronto.
Yeah, they were all offense.
You don't have enough pucks on the ice to share in the scoring.
Yep.
You had the team to score. You needed goaltending. Both these teams needed a goaltender, and they should have been knocking on that Boston Bruin door, pounding it down.
Well, what I've heard, Olmark was on the block.
Yeah.
They were in place, and he nixed it. So I guess he has no clause with 16 teams. He didn't like the location of the team that they were trading him to. So there was a deal on the table.
Yeah.
It may have been Edmonton or Toronto, and he doesn't want to go to Canada.
Maybe. But you sometimes have to overpay. If they want to win a Stanley Cup, they need a goaltender. Their goaltending is terrible.
To your point, I think Boston should have pushed that envelope more on that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
So
I think so too.
Toronto, Edmonton, New York. Anybody else for losers?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So we're going to our winners. And I went right off the listen, the defending champions, Vegas Golden Knights, dude. I mean, how do you get better? You get better. Noah Hannafin, right? 11 goals, 24 assists. He's a plus 13 right now. Mantha, 20
On a bad
goals,
team.
right? 20 goals, 14 assists. He's a plus 5. And then you get Hurdle on top of it, right? And you know he's having a bad season, but this kid's a player.
Yeah.
15 goals, 19 assists.
Yep.
Right? So again, not satisfied with saying, "Hey, we won a championship, we're good." They added pieces that legitimately get them a Stanley Cup again. So I went Vegas as the biggest.
I also have them as winners too, and that is a hefty trio right there.
Yeah, that was.
They didn't need the goaltender. They can go out and get this stuff.
Yeah. And then Colorado. I thought the Avalanche did a phenomenal job as well. Again, another really good team. Middlestat, 14 goals, 33 assists.
Good player.
Plus 12. Even Trennan, he's a plus 12, 10 goals. So they got some playmakers for a playoff run. And then Brandon Duheim. So again, right? Just playmakers, right? Colorado, we know what they're about. Another team that
but they picked up Sean Walker too.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
Yeah, that one. That's huge. Defenseman from Philadelphia. Philadelphia making the playoffs, right? And they give away one of their best players, and that hurts. And I know they made some deals to try to compensate for that, but man, they should not have traded him away. I think Philadelphia could have been a dark horse in all of this.
Yeah. So Colorado, I think, phenomenal.
Yeah, they just got another top 4 defenseman.
Carolina.
Yeah.
It's another team that's on this. Jake Gunsel, and Evgeny
Kuznetsov. Yes.
I did pretty good on that one.
Who was struggling this year, but this guy's a player.
Again, now you got playmakers around him as well, right?
Yeah.
Experience. I think they did phenomenal. Again, a very good team. And then, Ron, I hate to say it, but listen, Florida. Vladimir Tarasenko, right?
That team's
17 goals, 24 assists, plus 13. The strong get stronger. You add a veteran piece, a guy that knows how to win. They were in the Stanley Cup last year. Guess what? They look primed to make a run again.
Yeah, and they also picked up Kyle Okposo too, who's not a bad player. You know, I mean, they look good.
Right?
They look good. And you know, it comes down to Florida and Carolina. It comes down to them in the East, and in the West, it comes down to Colorado and Vegas.
And they all made moves to try to see who can beat who.
I did have Winnipeg on the winning side.
Okay, and
because if there's a team,
if
there's a team out there that can cover Colorado and Vegas, it is Winnipeg. They're very good defensively, you know, and they have a great goaltender. You know, they did pick up Tyler Toffoli, right? Which I was hoping that was the guy that they go out and get. That was, you know, a big guy. But they also picked up defenseman Colin Miller, who's he's an above average player, and he's very mobile. And Sean Monahan from Montreal. I mean, these are good players, you know, but it doesn't wow you like the Colorado and Vegas.
Yeah, no, listen, and that's what I was like, as it's happening, I'm going, it's kind of crazy to think about all these top teams and how they cap, because we know the cap's a lot tighter in the NHL, that these top teams are still able to make great moves. And yet you see a team like Boston, or you see a team like the Rangers, or some of these teams that you really thought should have made more moves and didn't. Yeah, the cap hurt the Kings. All right, broadcasting. So, right, but and so it's just amazing to see. Does this put in your mind Vegas, Florida, kind of that rematch? As if you were going to say there's two teams right now that you almost guarantee are in the Stanley Cup Finals, would you say it's a rematch?
I'm leaning Florida, Colorado.
Okay.
But Vegas did a great job. Look, I like that of those three guys. Those three guys are better than Colorado's players that they got. But Colorado still has Rantanen and McKinnon and Cale Makar. So when you add those guys
And
to
Vegas
that,
lost Mark Stone, right? So that was a big loss for
Yes.
them, and they're trying to replace him.
yeah.
Yeah, no, listen. Any other winners for you? You had Winnipeg, you said, right? But all the others we agreed on?
Oh, wait, there's one more winner.
Okay.
It's Ron, because now he doesn't have to look at Sidney Crosby in the playoffs
Hey.
and being overrated as one of the top 5 players of all time.
All right.
I don't think so.
All right. Hey, great.
Let's see if he can
NHL
get it
talk.
done, right?
If you are out there and you want to tell us who you think your biggest winner and loser was, let us know. Put it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. All right, Ron, it is pick and roll time.
Pick and roll.
It's time for
I just realized it still had split decision up there.
It is season 4, episode 10, Downtown. Sorry, had to do it. We are talking about NFL great number 10s, and they are DeAndre Hopkins.
Wait,
Tyreek Hill.
NFL?
NFL, yeah. Eli Manning.
I thought it was curling.
Yes, no. Broom, what is it? Broom,
Oh, yeah.
broom, whatever that was. Broom looping,
ball.
or whatever. Broom ball, I don't know. Eli Manning. All right, so DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Eli Manning, Fran Tarkenton, Deshaun Jackson, Cordell Stewart, and Emmanuel Sanders, all great number 10s in the NFL. We're going to rank them from 7 to 1. I am first this week, so I will start us off with my pick and roll. At 7, Ron, I went Cordell Stewart. I really thought I'd have him higher, but his numbers are like, right? Like, we thought about Slash, though, and I'm like, his numbers are going to be like, holy cow. 48 and 34 as a quarterback for 14,000 yards. 77 touchdowns thrown.
Yeah, wait, what's the interceptions on that?
Yeah, it was more than
84.
Yeah, so 2,874 rushing yards for 38 touchdowns and 41 receptions for 5 touchdowns. But he only had one Pro Bowl and one most improved player. Again, not very good. Do we have to rank Eli? I know, Kenny. I know it hurts. At 6, I went Emmanuel Sanders, and only guy on this list that didn't have 10,000 yards, 704 receptions, so very good, and a 13.1 yards per reception, 51 touchdowns, 2 Pro Bowls, 1 championship. But again, no big stat that jumped out to me. At 5, I went to Deshaun Jackson, 641 receptions, 11,263 yards. Ron, 17.6 yards per reception. That's pretty good. 58 touchdowns. He also had 463 rushing yards for 4 touchdowns and 4 punt returns for touchdowns. 3 Pro Bowls and a championship. So I like the punt return thing. He did a little bit of everything. Special teams, a little bit on offense. So I went to Deshaun Jackson at 5. At 4, the guy Kenny didn't want me to mention, I went Eli Manning. A perfect record of 117 and 117. 57,023 yards passed, 366 touchdowns. So that was pretty impressive, and a 60.3 completion percentage. 4 Pro Bowls, 2 championships. It hurts so hard.
I quit.
Now. It hurts. It hurts.
I quit.
And on top of the 2 Super Bowl MVPs. So I put him at 4. At 3, DeAndre Hopkins, 928 receptions, 12,355 yards, 78 touchdowns, 13.3 yards per reception, a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, Ron. So I like the All-Pros there. And obviously his career is still going, so he could get over 1,000 receptions for his career. At 2, I went Tyreek Hill. I like his numbers. 717 receptions, 10,139 yards receiving, 14.1 yards per reception, 76 touchdowns, Ron. But he also has 766 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns, 4 punt returns, and a kick return for a touchdown in his career. 8-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, and he's won a championship with the Chiefs. Won't happen with the Dolphins. But anyway, all right, I have to take shots where I can. At number 1, though, Fran Tarkenton. If you think about today's quarterback, and we say sometimes guys in the past couldn't play in today's game, you could pull Fran Tarkenton today and put him in today's game because the man could do it all. 124 and 109 and 6 ties in his for his record. 47,003 yards passing, Ron. You think about it. It wasn't a passing league back then like it is today. And he still threw for 47,000 yards. 342 touchdowns thrown as well. 57% completion percentage. But, Ron, he also rushed for 3,674 yards in his career for 32 touchdowns. So the man was a dual threat. 9-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. He won 4 MVPs in 1975. They kind of did some funky things. So
it's really one MVP.
But he won a AP Player of the Year and a SN Player of the Year as well. So I went Fran Tarkenton at 1.
All right. Very similar, of course. I had Cordell Stewart also at number 7. I don't think he was that good. And frankly, he doesn't even belong with the rest of these players. So no Christmas card from Cordell Stewart.
Oh, man. And he was going to be on our show next week. No.
I guess he's not. Number 6, I also had Emmanuel Sanders. For all the reasons you said, and, he just wasn't as good as the other receivers.
He's not even the best Sanders. Isn't Colonel Sanders one of the best?
Oh, I love Colonel Sanders.
Right? Who doesn't like a good Colonel Sanders? We're not going to advertise it because we're not getting paid royalties by them.
That's right. We're not.
They could be a sponsor, though, for Pick and Roll.
They could be. All right, so
Chicken Roll.
So Emmanuel Sanders, number 6.
Chicken Roll, Ron. That works. Chicken Roll. No? Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, number 5.
Number 5, I have Deshaun Jackson. Just a little bit better than Emmanuel Sanders. A little bit. Well, maybe a little more than a little bit. He is what he is.
Yeah.
Good player, right?
Yeah.
So he was number 5. Number 3, I have DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
5 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. Don't worry about number 4. Don't worry about number 4.
All right.
All right, so DeAndre Hopkins, number 3. Number 2, Tyreek Hill.
So we have the same list.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And I have Fran Tarkenton, number 1. But I didn't mention that other guy at number 4. That hurt too much you saying it, and I couldn't repeat it.
It's a little painful.
It is very painful. But he's at number 4, even though he has an even record.
Isn't it?
But he got it done in the playoffs. He got it done. Luck! A little bit of luck.
Stick him on the helmet. I still say it today.
Yeah.
All right. So that was
maybe the ball was deflated.
That was fun. If you are joining us at any point, let us know in comments. Do you think we got it right?
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, it is time for predictions, my friend. Rough week last week, Ron. This is what happens when you pick against me. And on top of it, guess who won the NASCAR?
I know. I was going to congratulate you on that. If I would have went with my gut, I was going to go with Ross Chastain, and I didn't. He would have been number 4.
Yeah. So I got a win for Kyle Larson. Won the race last week.
So you get 2 points for it.
I got 2 points for it. So how cool is that? If you are joining us live and you'd like to let us know who you picked during our games, we will get your name added to our chart as well. But Ron, you're digging yourself a little hole. I mean, it's early. We still got like 40 weeks left, but keep it up. I like where
42.
I know. I like where this is headed. Where it's headed. All right. So game number 1, we got the NBA. We got some action on.
What the hell?
3:10. Milwaukee Bucks at the Los Angeles Clippers. I am going with the Bucks here. Listen, they've started to figure it out. Doc and his coaching. I went Milwaukee here because I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, yeah, I went Milwaukee as well. Um, I don't know. I just have this thing about the Clippers, and late in the season they start to tail off because that's what they do.
James went
So I'm
Bucks.
gonna stick
Kenny.
with that.
All right. James went Bucks. Kenny went Clippers. Oh, Kenny got a lot of faith in the Clips. Yeah. No, I think right. And some injuries. Russell Westbrook's out for the Clippers now. All right, Ron. 313. You got the Denver Nuggets at the Miami Heat.
Oh, Denver. I'll take Denver all day.
Yeah, I went Nuggets as well. Listen, Jokic, the size. Miami's small. I think he's going to have a field day.
Jokic is the best player in the league.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, him and Tatum. Oh, no, let me shut up. No. Too soon? Too soon? Too soon. All right. Kenny's going Nuggets. I think James is trying to look for an emoji that's a nugget. There it is. Chicken roll. Chicken roll.
Nugget.
The chicken roll. I still think that's a good one. Oh. All right. Some NHL action, Ron. 313. Colorado Avalanche at the Vancouver Canucks. I think with the trades, Colorado's still going to be a little trying to feel it out. I went Vancouver here.
Yeah, I did too. For that exact reason. Vancouver made their trade in January.
Yep. So they've been playing together, right? So I like Vancouver here. And at home. And they're still the kings of the West right now. So I'm sure they're going to want to try to prove something.
Wait, I thought LA Kings were the kings of the West.
Hey, James went. Is that a Canuck? What is that, James?
That's a duck.
Oh, the Canuck.
No, that's Anaheim. It's the
Vancouver.
Anaheim Ducks, not the Vancouver Ducks.
Vancouver Canucks. But it's close.
You should have put a
Duck.
Canada flag.
You should have put the air. Sounds like duck. No, then we could have went a different way.
Family show.
Hey,
Family show.
It is. All right, Ron. You also got on March 14th, Florida Panthers
Oh.
at.
Wait, what's the date today?
Carolina
That's
Hurricanes.
later in the week, so they're going to have full squads in both teams.
That's
Wow.
a matchup.
I'm going to take Florida.
I went Florida as well. They're hot, man. They are moving. There's a Panther. Another Panther, James. James got the Florida Panthers.
Why does that look like a turtle with long legs?
Turtle. Kenny, who do you got? Florida Panthers at the Carolina Hurricanes.
Both made great trades.
Phenomenal.
I think those two teams would make an awesome Stanley Cup if they were to do that again.
What did Kenny put on there? Is that got a Panther?
Is that a sheep? That's a ram. Yeah, you're close. It's an animal.
Oh, I love these guys. All right, Ron, MLS action on March 10th. We got the Inter Miami CF at CF Montreal.
Yeah.
I am going, dude, do not go against Messi right now. They
No,
are
you
on
don't.
Fire.
You don't. He's better than the whole team.
The whole team. Ridiculous.
In any
man.
city.
I think they got like 8 goals in 2 games already. It's like ridiculous. So I went Miami. You went Miami as well?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not going against him.
You can't right now.
You
the
could
problem
put
with the
two
MLS
teams on the field against that team, and I'm still taking Messi.
Back-to-back weeks we had draws. And I was like so upset about it. They both went Miami as well.
Miami.
Both back-to-back.
With a shirt.
That's like a beach shirt or, one of those.
Yeah.
That's pretty sharp. All right, Ron, on March 10th as well, this Sunday, you got the Shriner Children's 500 in Phoenix. We need a top 5 driver, my friend.
Yeah, I really need to catch some fire here. So I'm going to go with Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
He's led a lot of laps overall, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay, Kyle Busch. I like it.
I'm tired of picking drivers that are due.
I do. All right.
He's done.
All right. I went Joey Logano. Joey Logano has run very well in Phoenix.
Yep.
I went Joey Logano. James going Chase Elliott.
How do you guys feel that you went with me last time?
Yeah, that didn't go so well. Pick the winner, by the way. This guy right here. This guy right here. This one. All right, Kenny don't do a lot of the NASCAR thing. I think he just picks guys that we pick. So we'll let Kenny slide on this one.
Okay.
NCAA men's basketball.
Yeah, 2 good games, huh?
2 great games tomorrow. So we start off with number 14 Kansas Jayhawks at number 1 Houston Cougars.
Whew, this is going to be a good one.
Family show.
I think it's you.
Go ahead. It is me. I went Houston. Number 1 seed on the line, right? NCAA tournament, March Madness coming up soon. Very good defensively. Houston, a phenomenal defensive team. I think they're going to create some problems, and they're at home. The last time we did this, Kansas was at home. I think Houston's going to want a little revenge factor. James going Kansas. Kenny's going Cougars. Kenny likes the Cougars. What do you got?
I'm going Houston as well. I just think they're too good right now, and they're going to be at home. There's no way they're going to give it up to Kansas this time.
Yeah. All right. Also, 3-9 this Saturday. Number 15, Kentucky Wildcats at number 14, Tennessee Volunteers.
Wait, is it 14 or 4?
4. Sorry. Did I say 14? You are correct. 4. Number 4.
I was like, wait, did I do it wrong?
No, I apologize. I saw 14 for Kansas.
I'm going to go number 4, Tennessee, to win this one. I think they're just a little too good for Kentucky. I think Kentucky's got a good team, but it's not the Kentucky of the past.
Yeah. I went Kentucky here. I think Kentucky, it's the only one we got different other than the race. So, no, but I went Kentucky. I said, listen, I mean, we'll see. Tennessee for both James and Kenny. Now I'm not feeling so good about my pick. All right. That is our predictions. We will let you know how we do next week. Oh, I got to give you all that information, too. So, if you are joining us live, please let us know if there was anything you wanted to talk about, anything you wanted us to cover. Ron, we are going to go into our final thoughts, but normally before we go into the final thoughts, we let all the wonderful people out there know how they could be a sponsor of our great show and get your name right up there. I missed one. What one did I miss, Kenny? Kenny had one? Which one did you want to add, Kenny? We will add it for sure. What do you got?
Yeah, what do you got, Kenny?
What do you want to add, Ken? Duke versus the Tar Heels. Damn, we're going somewhere. So you want us to put it? Do you know what they're? So Duke at North Carolina. All right, we can do it. All right, I'm going Duke.
Yeah, I'm going Duke as well. I just think they're better.
Who do you got, Kenny? And James?
It's not the rivalry like it was.
I will say this though. We're thinking wrong here because the Tar Heels are much better. James is going Duke.
Wait, Chakra got one in there?
Kenny's going Tar Heels. What are you on?
Chakra has a
glitch.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. What do you want? What is that? Kenny's going Tar Heels or Tar Heels. With the accent, though, Kenny, I got you. Tar Heels.
I would think it would be a devil.
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
Going to Blue Devils, Chakra? Just put me down for top half of the list. I will agree with Kenny. Okay, he's going North Carolina. Chakra's on the list.
Here we go.
All right.
There we go.
All right. So, Ron, you want to let everybody out there know how they can be a sponsor on our show? Get your name right on there and make sure we can put thousands of eyes on your business.
Absolutely. And you should want to jump on board on this really quick. You can send us an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com right down over here. Put that right in your phone, all your information on your laptop, PC, whatever it may be that you're using. You'll want to keep that handy. So you can email us there, because if you want to sponsor, it's just as easy as going to your local chicken place and getting a chicken roll. And all the fixins. It'll cost less than that. Just to sponsor the show. And let me tell you, you'll want to do this soon.
Ron, I mean, we've got a very big announcement here at Sports Unfolded. Ron, let the fans know what's coming up with Sports Unfolded and how we could get even more people to know about your business as a sponsor of our show.
So we're going to be joining WDJY radio station in Georgia. That's going to have a lot of reach, 350,000 listeners. So you'll want to jump on this, and let me tell you, we're gonna be good. I mean, this show is going to be cranking. So I would probably get in on this real soon before the prices skyrocket, because that's what's going to happen when it blows up. You're gonna be sorry, and you're gonna wish you did. So look that up. Go to WDJY.com, and we'll be on there starting April 6th.
April 6th, Saturdays from 1 to 3. So that's 2 hours that our voices will be heard. Over 350,000 potential listeners each week. So you think about getting your business on there, because obviously that can be some major sponsors and major business for yourself as well. So we are looking forward to that. Very big announcement. April 6th, we will be on the radio where we belong. People don't want to see our faces sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I am the better looking of the two, but that's not the point. It's not the point. Sometimes you just want to hear.
But apparently your head is too big.
Hey, listen, I will say this, Ron, it is final thoughts time. I have a few.
Oh, boy.
And unfortunately, because I am not here next week, I have to get one very special one in here at the end as well. But I did want to go, my first final thought, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, July 20th on Netflix. I am finally excited to see a fight again, because, listen, there's no boxes that I'm really gravitating to.
No,
anymore.
And this one makes you really want to take a bite out of.
Right? You want to just see it. I air you all the time. But, right, like, just think about, as old as Mike, this is a 30-year age difference. And yet you feel like Tyson's got the edge. But I'm excited to see this. I hope it's an actual fight and not just like a publicity thing to make money. If it is, I mean, I will love this. But it brought some excitement. Chakra mentioned it earlier, right? Like, we haven't had a fight in a while that you really want to watch. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, July 20th on Netflix. I also did want to talk, my second one, Ron, same Patriot way. So we talk about the New England Patriots. We talk about making change, the most money in free agency to spend, correct? Top team in the league with the most money to spend in free agency. Chukwuma Okorafor is an offensive lineman that got benched by the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's one of their first signings. I see a lot of promise in this. And on top of that, let's go and get Hunter Henry back for 3 more years. Thank you, New England, for doing the same exact garbage. You should have kept Belichick if you're going to do the same thing. It looks the same to me on paper already. They didn't change. Why are we not going after top free agents? Why are we not bringing Russell Wilson in for an interview to see how this goes? No, we're going to keep doing the same old stuff. Mac Jones will be back. We're going to get some veteran quarterback that nobody wanted. Did you hear Joe Flacco is a possibility in New England? I will lose my mind, Ron. I will lose my mind. I am not going to want to see Flacco. I don't want to see anybody. I'd rather keep Mac Jones at this point. This is the same old Patriots, guys. It's a rouge by the organization to make us think they were going to do something different. Absolutely not. Ron's upset with the Red Sox. I am.
Oh, I'm on all four. All four. And the Reds are no better either.
Yeah, I'm so pissed with the Patriots right now. So pissed. That's what we want to do. And Ron, my third, and I promise I'm sorry, but I have to do this because I am not on next week. My daughter's birthday is on the 16th, next Saturday. So I want to wish my daughter, Jasmine, a very happy birthday. I love you very much. Pride and joy, my life. One of the best things I've done besides my other children and my stepkids. So I just wanted to make sure I acknowledge that because I can't do it next week. And that's my final thoughts.
Yeah.
But I had to get the last one in.
Of course. But, of course, one of the best things that you ever did wasn't apparently Sports Unfolded, not mentioned in one of those best things. But that's okay. That's all right. I get it.
Ron, that's a given. That's a given. Listen, we're on the radio. We're going to be on the radio. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We are on everything. We are everywhere. This is the greatest sports podcast in the world. I say it every week.
Okay. All right. So, yes, part of my final thoughts are indeed you really need to follow us, share us, and everything because we really want this to explode. When we go on April 6th on WDJY, I'm telling you, it's gonna be life-changing. It's gonna go well. I feel it. And I hope everybody that's watching today, and I know there's a bunch of people watching that aren't commenting as well, please jump in, put some comments in there. But my final thought goes out. I don't know if anybody knows or realizes that I used to work for the YMCA in the childcare. And we had teens and we had kindergarten. We had a whole bunch of different programs after school. But one of the teens that was with me in the YMCA get diagnosed with cancer. Way too young. She's an adult now, but, mid-20s. Way too young to have cancer. People really need to reach out and start doing some things to help get rid of this. Because when you're in your mid-20s and you have an aggressive cancer, that is too young. It's too young. Kids should not have to deal with that stuff. And, she's an adult, but she's still a kid to me, and I wish her well. And, anything I can do, I'm going to be there to help the family. So it's tough.
Ron, listen, so many different things we do, and we have a lot of fun here on this show, right? But in all seriousness, there are points in time where life and reality cross. So thank you, Kenny, for the prayers. I want to continue to help people as much as we can too. So that's why we are a fan interactive show. So if there's anybody out there at any given time point that you need even just us to say a little something for them, let us know, because we're more than willing to share that with the world, to obviously try to help you heal as well, and hopefully help her fight this and beat it. So we're all here for Ron, and a phenomenal final thought. I couldn't end the show any better than that. So thank you for that. Everybody that's joined us live tonight, you guys have been amazing. Kenny, James, as always, Chakra, as always, you guys are phenomenal. If you're joining us live, listen, every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting, chime in, Fan Interactive. We will talk about anything you want to talk about, so make sure that you chime in. If you're watching us after, please continue to help follow, share our show so that we can continue to grow. Again, big things happening with Sports Unfolded already in 2024. We're so excited about our next adventure here and getting even more people on the best sports podcast on the planet. So thank you for joining us tonight. Ron, as always, what a great show, man. I appreciate you so much. And all I ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a good night, everybody. Take care.